Tell me more, tell me more. Did you get very far?
Tell me more, tell me more. Like, does he have a car? Go grease lightning, bring me down the borderline. Grease lightning, go grease lightning. I got chills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control.
'Cause the power you're supplying,
it's electrifying.
You better shake up, boo, 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 'cause I need a man, and my heart is set on you. You're the one that I want, you are the one I want, ooh, 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 honey, the one that I want, you are the one I want, ooh, ooh.
You might have guessed, today we're meeting the Hollywood actor John Travolta. He's in Cannes for the premiere of his new film, the gangster mob biopic Gotti. Sonia Patricelli met the cast on the red carpet.
Let me tell you something. New York is the greatest city in the world, my city. I was a kid in these streets, and I made it to the top.
Hi, congratulations. It must be a special night for you.
It was such a phenomenal reaction, the standing ovation, and after working so hard, 8 years to get this off the road and onto the screen, it was really wonderful.
What have you got in common with the gangster, John Gotti?
Probably only that I like clothing and dressing up, and I love my family. But other than that, I can't really think of anything I have in common.
Like that, I became a made man.
Dad, I'm thinking maybe take a year off.
Why, you want to hang out with me?
Do you know what you're doing to this family?
I will build something that nobody can destroy.
Salute.
Kelly Preston, what's the difference between your on-screen husband, John Gotti, and your real-life husband, John Travolta?
Obviously, my husband doesn't have the same job that John Gotti does, and didn't do any of doesn't curse like that. They are very passionate in their fighting, and you know we don't fight at all.
I had to read about it. It is on the cover of the paper that our son is a target.
Daily News, the fucking Post. Yeah, since when do they tell the truth?
You played in some 40 movies. What's special about this one?
It's always fun to do a gangster movie. Gangster movies are great. They're a part of our culture. You know, it goes back to James Cagney and Humphrey Bogart and Edward G. Robinson, and then of course The Godfather came along, and that was, you know, it was one of our most important films. So it's great fun to play a bad guy. They're much more fun than good guys.
Paul Castellano was a fish in the desert. I never respected Paul.
You killed the boss's boss.
You will bring down hellfire.
There is no choice.
I was talking with John Gotti Jr. He says to me, he says, look, come on, let's be honest here. You must have some concerns. I said, yeah, I do. He said, what? I said that you're going to try to whitewash your father's image. He went, that's good. So let me tell you something. My father was a gangster 24/7, and he was a killer. And I went, okay, we can start from there.
Our job now is to maintain leadership. I nominate John Gotti. To the new boss!
Tell us about when Pulp Fiction won the Palme D'Or in Cannes in '94.
It is a milestone in my career because it gave me permission to do literally any type of character that I wanted. And it's never been the same since, you know, and also changed film history. People started to think differently about the type of film they would make.
Marcellus throwing Tony out of a 4-story window or massaging my feet seem reasonable?
No, it seemed excessive, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
You're known for your great dance moves in Grease, Pulp Fiction, and Saturday Night Fever. Can you show us one?
I could do this. I could do a little twist for you. You want to twist with me?
Oh yeah, I would love to.
You could see that Pierre did truly love the mademoiselle.
Welcome to the Cannes Press Room. This is where many of the articles you read about the festival are written. There are more than 4,000 journalists here. One of the subjects making a buzz this year is the lack of women in film. Let's go meet the Indian actress turned director Nandita Das. She's at the festival with her biopic Manto about the controversial writer. Nandita, congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
You've acted in more than 40 films in 10 languages. Your first movie as director, Firak, was more than a decade ago. You're back in Cannes with Manto. Why did you want to tell this story about this writer at the time of partition in India in the 40s?
Well, for multiple reasons. One, that I think I wanted to respond to everything that's going on in my country and in the world at large, which is how identities are dividing people on the basis of nationality, religion, in our country even caste, gender. And Manto was someone whose stories were so humanist. You know, he was not religious. He didn't believe in even being bogged down by national identities. He felt the only identity that was worth sort of attaching yourself to was the identity of being a human being. He was also a big champion of freedom of expression. Even in Cannes, you've seen there are films that have been banned in their respective countries, whether it's a film from Iran or a film from Kenya. We have had similar issues. In my own career as an actress, I have faced censorship. So that's the other thing. And the third thing is, which is a very important one, that he has a very special gaze, a very empathetic gaze on women and those in the margins of society. And also my father, he's a painter, and he's quite maverick in his own world and quite a misfit and very blunt like Manto. So I also saw at a personal level that I grew up with a Manto, kind of a Manto-esque man. So I think for personal, socio-political reasons, my own engagement in issues with women, all of that somehow came together. I felt if I would tell a story on Manto.
सफिया उठो माफ करना जान लेकिन ये खुशी तो हम एक साथ ही मनाएंगे आ जाओ
बेटा देखो
आ जाओ आसमान तो देखो
2018 is a very significant festival for women.
Yes.
Especially with all the women who marched on the red carpet.
I was part of that. I was part of the 82 women who climbed up the red carpet together, and I think it was a very, very moving experience. Having been on the red carpet so many times as a juror, you know, as a film lover to watch films, it was like no other walk. It was quiet. We were just holding hands. There were not just these glamorous actresses and director in their fancy dresses, but there were really women behind the scenes tirelessly working in all shapes and sizes and clothes and shoes, and it wasn't about all that, which is kind of rare for the red carpet. So I think it was very refreshing, and there was almost a sense of sisterhood there.
The Me Too and Time's Up movements began in Hollywood and they resonated around the world. What effect did they have on film in India?
Unfortunately, very little. I wish there was more impact, and we had all imagined it to have, but there was a deafening silence actually in the Indian film industry. And the few women who did speak up a little bit were kind of, in fact, almost ostracized, and they didn't garner that kind of support. But I think the time is coming. Everywhere, it has to reach India as well. I think there have been a lot of talks in India, but still it hasn't reached that kind of a tipping point which happened in Hollywood.
What do you think Manto would have thought of the film?
I was wondering actually today, what would he have thought? I think he's a lot about the intent, and that's one thing I can immodestly say, that my intent has been pure. So I think Manto would be smiling. I hope so, at least.
Okay, Nandita, thank you.
Thank you so much.